Welcome. If My People Bible Reading, Part 143, the book of Jeremiah, or Jeremiah. Before we get started, go back and read Isaiah, all of Isaiah chapter 19. That's a warning and a blessing. And what that entails is that it's important to understand that Jeremiah was a prophet, and what he's about to say was about then and about the future, especially the last days, and the times, the troubling times to come, and Jacob's troubles. So Isaiah 19, most all churchy books, Orthodox books, all the studies and on the Word, on the Bible that I've picked up from off the shelves, hundreds of books I've gone through. I'm saving you a lot of time because I've gone through them. And if one thing I am, I'm a book nut. I love to read everything and check things out. And I trust books a lot more than the internet. Although I'm on the internet now, I just don't use my internet to research internet and then tell you what was on the internet. You're getting it from books. That's what I'm doing for you, saving you hundreds of hours per topic of study because I love this stuff. But Isaiah 19 says this, and get the point. Here's the point, Mr. Church leaders, Mr. Pulpit man, Mr. Minister, Pastor. I don't mean to harp on these people, but boy, they are really screwing up the churches. And here it is. The blessing that Israel gets is not just Israel. Read Isaiah 19. It says that Egypt, now we're not talking about Egypt, which is currently in Egypt. We're talking about the Western world. That's what it's talking about. Jeremiah went to Egypt. And by the way, he should have gone, but wasn't paying all the instructions of the Lord, but that's another story. But by representing he went to Egypt and didn't return, he's telling you that the people that left with him, and there were many, he just didn't get in a cab or an Uber and go to Alexandria. I mean, many people went with him, hundreds, and they were never seen again. But yes, they were. They were sent, and they went dispersed all over the world, just like they did during the time of the Exodus. Those that left early, here we go again. Those who didn't go to Babylon, they left and went to the Western worlds, Egypt. They will be blessed in the last days. Egypt. That means the United States, Canada, all those who hear and obey, all those in those lands of turmoil in the last days. The United States. Now we understand. I've been doing this, presenting this since 1994. Here it is, 2020, and we're on the second edition. All kinds of updated information is being put in this commentary Bible to help you to understand, not just pass on the news of what's going on. You're going to be okay. Will many of you be killed? Will many of you lose your head? Will many of you die? Will many of you get diseases? Will some of you, this many, get COVID and die? Will this many of you, this many, get COVID like a cold? As a chemist, as a retired chemist, I've looked at COVID. I know exactly what it looks like. It looks like a form of a cold. Isn't it? Streptococcus. Isn't that terrible? I'm not going to argue with you, but I know somebody who died. It was just horrible. Well, heart attacks are horrible, and eating the wrong crappy food, unclean food for your entire life is horrible because then you die an early death. Don't you? You should live to be a healthy 70, 80, 90 years old. But no, you die when you're 65 of a heart attack because there's tons of fat in your heart. You've eaten the wrong foods. That's just as terrible as someone died from COVID, isn't it? Are you judging people who don't die of COVID? So that's the worst in the world? Let me harp on that. Egypt is going to be blessed. Assyria, which means the northern areas, are going to be blessed. Those people, those who hear and obey, are going to be blessed. Yes, they are. They're going to get the blessing just as much as Israel, the people in the land, in the last days and during the millennium. Yes. Read chapter 19. And you don't hear this from churches. You don't hear this from synagogues especially. You don't hear nothing like that from synagogues. Although Jeremiah is in the Old Testament. Oh, they just left that out of their weekly portions, didn't they? I just, ugh. All three are going to be blessed. One third, one third, one third. There it is. Now we come into Jeremiah. Everybody calls him the weeping prophet. Let me read. The words of Jeremiah, son of Hilkiah, chapter 1, verse 1. One of the priests of Anathoth in the territory of Benjamin. That's like Elijah, right? Elisha. Both of them. Well, there were some other priests around. What did the father say? Oh, yeah, there's 7,000 more. He hasn't even mentioned their names yet that he could mention just like that. Amazing how that's all left out of the churches today. They don't talk about that. Simply put, this was a man of tears. Unlike most other prophets, he speaks personally of his own life. As we've read before, a lot of them didn't mention any of that stuff. Matter of fact, just a quick review. Let me give it to you. What'd I do? Lose you for a minute? Just to kind of keep you up. Now Israel's been dispersed, right? Okay, right where we are, and they went through 19 horrible kings, and I can't say one. There's not one good thing. The Bible doesn't say one good thing about them. It starts from Jeroboam the first, from 931 to 910 B.C., reigned 22 years, and then we go through a total of 19, ending with Hosea, Hoshea, Hosea, 732 to 721, who reigned for 9 years. All of them bad people, and they were all dispersed. So they were all went into paganism big time, just like what's happened all over the world. Just like today, the Christian churches, they're all into paganism, big time paganism, and they can't go yelling at the Catholic Church or the Catholics. Y'all came from the Catholics, no matter what you say. But we're Southern Baptists, you know. No, you're not. You can say you are, but you came from the branch of the tree that was corrupted to begin with. Only the root is pure. Be honest about it. So then, now we're into the book, we're studying Judah. What's happening to them? They're still existing, kinda. And they went through 20 kings during the same amount of time that Israel went through 19. And there's been some good ones. Asa, Jehoshaphat, Joash, Amaziah, Azariah, Jotham, Hezekiah, Josiah, or Josiah, Josiah. They were pretty good people. So in Israel, Elijah, Micaiah, Elisha, Jonah, Amos, and Hosea. That's all the prophets they had. Did anyone listen to them? No. Now the prophets in Judah: Shemaiah, Joel, Isaiah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, and now the last prophet, Jeremiah. Did anyone listen to them? Yes, no. That's what kind of Jeremiah is talking about. He's getting a warning from Yahweh. He's giving them, Yahweh's giving them big warnings. Big times are coming. Judgment times are coming. I'm going to send people from this area. I'm going to send people from that area. He's talking about then and there. But he's also talking about the future, when people from the north will come. And of course, the pulpits and the ministers and the rabbi all say, "Oh, with this evilness out there, these evil people doing this." Not so. It says here that Yahweh does this. Yahweh does that. Yahweh makes these people come down. Yahweh controls them. Yahweh sends them to the people to inflict them. With who's them? Us. Oh, it's because we're disobeying? Exactly. We don't listen to him, so he sends people who we hate to chastise us so that we fall on our knees and pray to Yahweh the Father. That's why all these stuff are happening in the last days. That's exactly why. And the people from the north and the people from the east, are they going to attack the people from Egypt, the people from the west, and make their government and all the people miserable? Yeah, it's written right here. Read the book of Jeremiah, the whole thing. And now you know why he's weeping. He sees what you're just now figuring out. It's not, Jeremiah's not talking about, oh, poor me, Jeremiah, which he is, but at the same time, he's prophesying through the Father. And the Father's saying, it's really about those guys in the future. You. It's about you. So that is very vital to reading the book of Jeremiah, that he sent his prophets. As Yeshua says later on, I sent the prophets, and you either hated them, you didn't listen to them, or you killed them. I'm not getting 40,000 views on this and 40,000 likes. I'm not talking to sheep. I will never get a like from a sheep. They won't like me. They won't subscribe to me because I'm not talking sheep language. Sheep language is happy language and sweet language, blessed language and all the stuff that the Father is all these things, but he's also a father, and he disciplines his children. And he doesn't do it the hard way until he tries the easy way. He does it every time to every generation. He speaks softly, and he carries a big stick. So, he says this in verse 4, chapter 1. The word of Yahweh came to me saying, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Ooh, there's something about abortions there. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Isn't it remarkable? Just quick sideline here, that we just went through an election and 74 million people said yes to socialism, yes to communism, and yes to change and hope. And they did. And 71 million said they want to vote for Republicans, the greedy people. I'm not talking political parties. I'm just talking plain language. How many people have been murdered since January of 1973? Roe v. Wade. Is it 71 million? If just a tiny portion of the 71 million had all been allowed to be born, and just a tiny portion, let's say a very small percentage, voted, would they vote for life or vote for death? Which is the right for a woman to do whatever she wants with her body, and it's okay. And as a former law enforcement, criminal justice for all these years, I would say, here we go with the numbers again, 99% of all those who have ever been with child have not been raped by the bad guy. And we're saying, well, what if somebody's raped? Can they have a right to get rid of that ugly child, that demon child, that evil child that's from that rapist? I can understand that. I don't agree with it. I think goodness comes out of bad. I'm living proof. Goodness comes out of bad. It's choice that we make. But if a small percentage had been allowed to live, then there wouldn't be an argument about who won the election, would there? No, but we murdered 71 million votes. Think about that. We murdered 71 million votes. So which party's to blame? Well, I'm not blaming any party. Everybody makes a decision. Everybody lives with the results of that decision. Oh, wow. What was that? That was whack. All right. We are at 13:44, so I've got about a minute left. We're going to go through Jeremiah the next 2 times here, at least. I'll stop yakking about the other things. I just wanted to get you on track how important Jeremiah is. He's one of the last prophets, and that's it. And he gives an incredible view of the future. So as a prophet, he's living up to his prophecy that Yahweh gave him. Verse 9, then Yahweh reached out his hand and touched my mouth and told me, and I got 30 seconds left. I'll even stop there. Please tune in for the next one. The next one's going to be 144. Go to it next. We'll see you then.